Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make a rolled ice dye shirt. This was a design inspired by Mark at Psychedelic Serenity Tie Dye, and these are really cool. There's lots of ways that you can modify this design to get really unique results. I have the shirt turned inside out, and I'm going to grab one corner of the hem and fold it up to the opposite shoulder of the shirt. I'm going to actually go a little bit beyond the shoulder of the shirt. Then using a washable marker, I'm going to draw a wavy line on the shirt, and I'm actually going to end the wavy line over on the sleeve of the shirt. Then I'm going to begin rolling the shirt right on that line, and I'm going to roll it as tight as I can on the line, and I'm using my other hand to kind of force the rest of the shirt to continue rolling, but I'm not rolling that area as tightly. I'm going to follow this line as well as I can. It gets a little bit difficult as the fabric gets bulkier over on that one side of the shirt. Once I have the entire shirt rolled, right on that line, I'm going to fold the shirt in half. Then I'm going to use some kite string to keep the folds in place. So I've done a little bit of experimenting with this design, not a ton, but a little bit. And every different thing that you change can change the way the shirt looks. I could tie it with sinew and pull the sinew a little tighter. That's going to change the way the shirt ultimately looks. I could put more than just a single fold in the shirt like I did here. I just folded it in half. So that was just one single fold. You can just experiment with this design. I mean, every element that you change changes the outcome and the way the shirt looks. But every one that I've done looks really cool. I'm going to go ahead and place this shirt aside for a few days and let it dry out just a little bit. I've done this design when it's still damp, but for this shirt, I want to apply the dye when the shirt is dry. I've kind of built my color palette around one specific color, and that color is Lunar Eclipse from Dalula Co. I'm going to incline this shirt, so for my setup, I've placed the shirt down inside of a piece of vinyl guttering. And this piece of vinyl guttering is about 2.5 feet long. I buy the 10-foot sections and then cut them down. Then so that the shirt doesn't slide all the way down and out of the guttering, I'm going to take a piece of kite string, tie it around the end, and then use a metal clip to clip the end of the kite string to the end of the vinyl guttering. Before I begin applying the dye, I'm going to use a washable marker and divide my shirt into sections where I'd like to apply the dye. I'm using 5 different dye colors, so I'm making sure I have 5 sections on the shirt. Then because the shirt is completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and lightly spray the top of the shirt with some soda ash solution that I've placed inside of a spray bottle. That is going to help the dye to stick a little bit better to the top of the shirt. Also, because this shirt is so thick, it almost comes all the way up to the top or the edge of the vinyl guttering. So I need to make myself a little bit of an ice barrier for that thicker part of the shirt. And to do that, I'm going to use some plastic cutting boards that I've cut into strips. I'm just going to slide that cutting board right beside the shirt and up next to the vinyl guttering. Like I mentioned earlier, I chose my colors for this shirt based upon Lunar Eclipse from Dalula Co. And Lunar Eclipse has got a lot of purple and it's got some really cool green splits. So I'm choosing purples and greens for this shirt. At the very end portion of the shirt where it curves around, on half of that area, I'm going to use Dusty Purple from Pro Chemical and Dye. And Dusty Purple is beautiful. It's got purple with green splits, so I thought that would look really good with a Lunar Eclipse. The other half of that area, I'm going to use Lunar Eclipse from Dalula Co. And then right in the center of the shirt, I'm going to do another line of the Lunar Eclipse. After the Dusty Purple and Lunar Eclipse, I'm going to place Dark Green from Dharma Trading Company. And then on the other side of the middle stripe of Lunar Eclipse, I'm going to use Deep Purple from Dharma, followed by Woodland from Dye Spin. So for this shirt, I'm kind of doing a no-no. I'm putting purple and green side by side, and then I'm going to incline the shirt. And if you've done a lot of tie-dye, I'm sure you know when you mix purple with green, it usually ends up with quite a bit of brown. But Lunar Eclipse, like I said, has got gorgeous color splits that are purple and green. So I'm going to give it a try on this shirt. I added a little bit more dry soda ash over the top of the dye, and then I'm going to add on some ice. And I'm going to pay particular attention to add a little bit of extra ice on at the very top where that shirt curves around. That is really thick in that area, and I want to make sure I get good color saturation right in that part of the shirt. Before I finish applying the ice, I'm going to go ahead and incline the shirt. And to do that, I'm going to place one end of the vinyl guttering down inside of a plastic container and then leave the other end of the guttering hanging off the edge. To make sure the shirt doesn't slide down to the end of the guttering, I'm going to add a baseball-sized wiffle ball right at the end of the guttering. Then once I have the shirt inclined, I went ahead and added a little bit more of the dusty purple and the Lunar Eclipse to that very end of the shirt, and some more ice in that area. Because I'm using bagged ice, if I can find kind of a larger chunk of ice to put in that area, I usually try to use that because it works really well to stay on top of the shirt and not just slide down. Once I have the ice on the shirt, I'm going to place the shirt aside and allow the ice to melt. After the first layer of ice melted, I still had quite a bit of undissolved dye left sitting on top, so I went ahead and added a second layer of ice and allowed it to melt as well. So after the second layer of ice melted, even though it looked like the dye had gone through the shirt pretty well, I went ahead and flipped the shirt over and applied more dye to the back side. You'll notice when I turn the shirt over, I do have pretty good color saturation, but I was really concerned about some of the areas in the shirt because it is so thick. So I did apply a fairly thin layer of dye to most of the areas of the shirt. I didn't put a whole lot down at the bottom because it is pretty thin down there. Then I added another layer of ice to the top and I allowed that to melt. And after this layer of ice melted, I still had a little bit of undissolved dye left sitting on top, but I figured I probably had the shirt well saturated at this point and just left it alone to process. I left it about 48 hours and allowed it to process where it was above 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This dye really needs a temperature above 70 degrees Fahrenheit to properly bond with the fabric. If it's a little bit below 70 degrees Fahrenheit, that's fine, but you need to let it process a little bit longer so that you have nice, vibrant colors. After 48 hours, I took the shirt to my utility sink and I began rinsing it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. Then I warmed the water up to hot and continued rinsing in hot water to rinse out the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. Instead of just rinsing for a long time, I went ahead and untied the shirt, rinsed just a little bit longer, and then soaked the shirt. To do that, I placed the shirt into my utility sink along with some really hot water and a little bit of Blue Dawn dish soap. When the water cooled off, I changed it out and I continued that soaking process until my water was remaining almost clear. Then I placed the shirt along with some Dharma's professional textile detergent into my washing machine and washed it using a hot water cycle. Okay, so the shirt has been washed, dried, and ironed, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so what do you guys think? I think this one is gorgeous. I absolutely love these colors together. I have various shades of purple, green, teal, kind of some more bluish teal. I mean, I just think it's really, really pretty. You know, I was very concerned about sticking the green and the purple right up next to each other that I would get a lot of brown on the shirt. And I really didn't. The purple just got a little bit more dark and the green just kind of went teal. I don't know, I just think it's so pretty. And I love the design on the shirt too. I think it looks very I don't know, kind of like a leaf or a flower or kind of an alien stretching across the shirt. It looks really cool. I don't know how to describe it. If you have a spectacular name for it, then please drop that down below. But I think it just looks really cool, the design that it made, folding the shirt and then rolling it. But like I said, I'm just so surprised at how cool these colors look together. They just look so dark and rich, kind of jewel tone. And I absolutely love it. I think it's just really, really beautiful. Lunar Eclipse from Dalula Company is quickly becoming one of my favorite colors. You know, chocolate cherries used to be my favorite from Dalula, but I don't know, this Lunar Eclipse is really winning me over. It is such a pretty color. And if you're not familiar with Dalula Company, it is a small dye business in California, and Amanda is the owner. She takes and mixes these dyes specifically for ice dyeing. So she makes them with really cool color splits in mind. And I think this color in particular just looks really pretty. I'll leave a link down below in the description for this video to her website. She's got quite a few colors out there, and you can go out and check out what she offers. I usually test out her new colors, and so I have videos for most of the colors too if you'd like to see them on an incline twist. Incline twists show off the color splits really well, so I have videos for those out on my channel. So as far as this shirt goes, if you're wondering what the colors are, that purple that kind of has green in the middle of it, that's going in an arc, going from the bottom portion of the shirt over to the sleeve, that's the dusty purple from Pro Chemical that splits out the really cool green. And then right under that is the Lunar Eclipse. And then the color that I believe is turning teal is the dark green from Dharma. I think the more vivid purple is the deep purple from Dharma. And where it gets really dark, I believe that's where it's mixed with the woodland. I don't really see the woodland color by itself a whole lot, except right at the very edges. So obviously I love this shirt. Think it turned out super cool, but what do you guys think? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed the video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it and if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, you'll receive a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.